The smell of barbecue smoke filled Aunt Rita's backyard. 4th of July, 73 relatives, kids threw sprinklers, American flags everywhere. Dad stood on the deck holding a beer like a trophy. Contract signed Tuesday. $5.8 million for the Park Slope Brownstone. Closing in 30 days. My cousin Jessica dropped her plate. Potato salad hit grass. Richard, that's incredible, Aunt Rita said. I didn't know you had property in Brooklyn. 4 stories, original 1887 details, prime location. Hedge fund manager buyer. Cash offer. Dad's voice carried that practiced confidence I'd heard my entire life. My son Kyle, 14, beside me at the kids' table went very still. Uncle Mike left the grill. That's serious money. Smart real estate management, Dad said, surveying his audience. Some people understand assets. Some people let properties sit empty, wasting potential. He didn't look at me. Never did when delivering these observations. But everyone else did. I taught architectural history at NYU. $58,000 salary. Dad had called my career charming, like a hobby at Thanksgiving. When's closing? Someone asked. August 2nd. Buyer wants to gut renovate. Turn it into a single-family mansion. Kyle's knuckles went white against his knees. Dad, I said quietly. The backyard dimmed. Everyone suddenly interested in their hot dogs. Yes, Emma? That's my brownstone. He laughed. Actually laughed. Your brownstone. That's rich. I purchased it 6 years ago. I've spent $340,000 renovating it. It's in my name solely. Emma, sweetheart. That tone, explaining basic concepts to children. I handled the purchase. I have the paperwork. You were in grad school barely scraping by. I made that investment happen. The property is mine. Emma helped with some research, historical documentation. But ownership? That's me. Kyle stood abruptly. That's bullshit. Language, Dad snapped. You're lying. We've been there. We've seen the awards. Her name is on everything. I touched Kyle's arm. He was shaking with rage. It's okay, I told him. It's not okay. I know. And so does everyone here who's willing to see it. I collected my purse. Enjoy the party. Driving home, Kyle finally exploded. Why didn't you show them proof? Because I want to see exactly how far he'll go. 34 years in my father's shadow, watching him rewrite reality. My achievements became his investments. My successes became his guidance. My properties became his portfolio. The brownstone was my masterpiece. Found it in 2018, pre-renovation, $2.1 million and falling apart. I'd offered $1.8 million. Seller accepted within 6 hours. 2 years renovating personally, sourcing period materials, working with Landmarks Commission, learning plastering from a 70-year-old craftsman in Red Hook. My dissertation on Brooklyn's historic architecture had prepared me perfectly. Landmarks gave me the Historic Preservation Award in 2022. Brooklyn Historical Society featured it in their tour. Architectural Digest photographed it. My name on every permit, every award, every article. But to Dad, I was still the struggling academic who couldn't manage real estate. The origin moment happened at my mother's funeral 2 years ago. I'd overheard Dad near the coffee station. Emma's doing okay, barely making ends meet. I help where I can. Paid for her mother's medical bills, covered the funeral costs. I'd paid $87,000 in medical bills. I'd organized and funded the funeral. $23,000. Dad contributed $0 and full credit. I started keeping records that night. The ghost ledger. Dad's 70th birthday. I paid $12,400 for yacht club party. He thanked my brother for organizing everything. Cost, unrecoverable. My 10-year celebration. Dad left after 20 minutes. Stayed 4 hours at my brother's car dealership opening. Cost, clear message about whose success mattered. Sunday dinners, he'd ask about my brother's business, sister's career. Asked me, still teaching? Cost, systematic dismissal. The Brownstone Award ceremony. Dad was busy. Attended my brother's timeshare presentation instead. Cost, missing my recognition moment. Mom's medical crisis. I took 3 weeks unpaid leave, coordinated all care, paid all bills. Dad told relatives, We're managing together. Cost, erased labor. Every property purchase. I'd acquired 6 properties over 8 years. Dad told people he helped her get started. Cost, expertise erased. 41 entries. Each one a theft of recognition, dignity, basic acknowledgement. Total emotional debt, incalculable. Recommended action, stop lending to bankrupt accounts. Monday morning I called my attorney. Stephen, my father is attempting to sell my brownstone without my consent. Stephen had handled all my property acquisitions. That's felony fraud. The property is solely in your name. I want to let him try to close. I want documentation of attempted fraud, buyer impact, maximum consequences. That's scorched earth. Yes. Stephen gathered evidence. Original purchase documents, my name as sole buyer. Mortgage in my name. 2 years of permits, all mine. Landmarks correspondence. Historic Preservation Award. Tax records 6 consecutive years. Difference. Everything. He also discovered Dad's forgeries. Fake deed transfer dated 2017. Fabricated ownership records. Forged quitclaim deed supposedly signed by me in 2023. He's been planning this for months, Stephen said. The buyer is real. Marcus Chin, hedge fund manager. $5.8 million contract, closing August 2nd. Your father provided forged ownership documents. What happens at closing? Title company discovers fraud during final certification. Closing stops. Chin sues your father for millions. Perfect. Contact the Landmarks Commission. They'll want to be present. This will be public. Probably media coverage. Even better. July became August. Dad texted the family chat daily. Buyer's attorney approved documents. Title search proceeding. Getting cashier's checks ready. My brother sent congratulations. My sister sent champagne emojis. I watched silently, documenting. Kyle asked every few days, Mom, he's going to be arrested. He's going to face consequences for fraud. There's a difference. August 2nd arrived. Closing scheduled 2 p.m. downtown Brooklyn Title Company. Stephen and I arrived at 1:45. Landmarks sent Deputy Director Patricia Hughes. She'd approved my permits, signed my award. I'm furious, Patricia said. Using our award-winning property for fraud is unconscionable. Dad arrived at 1:52, suit and leather briefcase, radiating confidence. Buyer Marcus Chin arrived at 1:58 with his attorney Jennifer Huang. At 2 o'clock we walked in. Dad was laughing at something Chen's attorney said. When he saw me, confusion crossed his face, then irritation. Emma, what are you doing here? I own the property you're attempting to sell. The title officer Robert looked up. There must be confusion. Richard Porter is the seller. No, I said calmly. He's not. Stephen stepped forward, placing his 3-inch file on the table. I'm Stephen Walsh, Ms. Porter's attorney. My client is sole legal owner of 447 Berkeley Place. Mr. Porter has no ownership stake. Jennifer Huang sat forward. We have documentation. Deed showing Richard Porter as owner since 2017. Forged, Stephen said. He laid out documents surgically. Original purchase March 2018, buyer Emma Porter. $1.8 million. Mortgage Emma Porter. Kings County deed, Emma Porter, sole owner. Patricia added her folder. Deputy Director Hughes, Landmarks Preservation Commission. We've worked with Ms. Porter extensively. 2 years of permits, 43 applications, all in her name. She received our Historic Preservation Award in 2022. Mr. Porter never appeared on any documentation. Robert typed rapidly. His face paled. The deed on file shows. Emma Porter. Sole owner. Recorded March 15, 2018. Impossible, Dad said. I have the deed right here. Stephen examined it without touching. Forgery. Notary seal from someone whose license expired in 2019. County clerk stamp incorrectly formatted. Property description wrong. Completely fraudulent. Jennifer turned to Dad slowly. Mr. Porter, did you represent to my client that you own this property? I do own it. Emma's confused. These permits show Emma Porter as owner, Patricia interrupted. Everyone. Landmarks doesn't issue permits to researchers. Only to property owners. Robert's expression darkened. The documents you provided don't match county records. The actual deed shows Emma Porter purchased from Kowalski Estate in 2018. No transfer to Richard Porter exists. Marcus Chin stood. Ms. Huang, what's my legal position? You're a fraud victim. The seller never owned the property. Your $5.8 million contract is void. We'll sue Mr. Porter for fraud, breach of contract, misrepresentation. How much? Out of pocket. $140,000 attorney fees, $45,000 due diligence. Plus punitive damages. $500,000 to $1 million total. Jin looked at Dad. I pulled $5.8 million from investments for this. You're hearing from multiple attorneys. He left. Jennifer followed. Dad sat frozen. Mr. Porter, Robert said, I'm required to report this. Attempted real estate fraud over $1 million is Class B felony. This is a misunderstanding, Dad said. Emma. You forged documents, created fake deeds, fake records, fake ownership history. You tried to steal and sell my Brownstone for $5.8 million. Patricia added, we're flagging you statewide. Any property you claim will receive additional scrutiny. Robert called the DA's office. Dad tried to leave. Stephen mentioned flight risk. Dad sat back down. At 3:30, Detective Carmen Rodriguez arrived. Mr. Porter, come to the precinct for questioning on attempted real estate fraud. I want my attorney. That's your right. But you're coming either way. She didn't handcuff him, but watching my father walk out felt like watching a building I'd supported single-handedly finally collapse. Stephen turned to me. Are you okay? I'm free. Consequences cascaded brutally. Monday 8:47 a.m., New York Times ran the story. Fraud attempt foiled at historic Brooklyn Brownstone. Photo of my Brownstone landmarks plaque visible. My name as architectural historian who personally restored the property. Dad as arrested for fraud. Monday 2:15 p.m. Decharged Dad. Attempted grand larceny, forgery, criminal impersonation, fraudulent notary use. Bail $100,000. 3 days in Rikers before my brother mortgaged his house. Tuesday, Chen's attorneys filed civil suit seeking $2.4 million. Wednesday, Landmark sent commendation letter featured my case in monthly bulletin. Thursday, Dad's golf club suspended his membership. Social circle distanced rapidly. Friday, my brother called. Mom would be ashamed. Mom knew exactly who accomplished what in this family. You're destroying him over a house. He tried to steal my property and sell it for $5.8 million. What part should I forgive? The legal fees are bankrupting him. Those are consequences of his choices. Week 2, family group chat erupted. Aunts demanded I drop charges. Cousins called me vindictive. I responded once. I didn't press charges. The DA did. Real estate fraud over $1 million is a felony. The system is working as designed. If you think I should have let him steal my property to avoid family embarrassment, examine your values. Muted permanently. Week 3. Dad's attorney tried negotiating. Could I say it was a misunderstanding? Stephen. My client will not provide false statements to minimize her father's fraud. Week 4. Investigation revealed Dad's desperation. $180,000 credit card debt, $95,000 personal loans, $340,000 second mortgage. He'd planned to pocket the full $5.8 million. Week 5. Second buyer emerged. Dad had been negotiating to sell my Fort Greene townhouse. Another $3.2 million fraud. 2 counts became 4. Kyle asked if I felt guilty. We sat in my Brownstone's garden. No. I feel clear. Everyone's mad at you. Everyone's mad their narrative collapsed. They preferred the story where I was struggling. The truth, that I built something substantial, makes them uncomfortable. Because they chose to be wrong about you? For years. Despite evidence. I'm proud of you, Mom. 4 months later, Dad pleaded guilty. Attempted fraud, forgery, criminal impersonation. Sentencing, 18 months prison, 3 years probation, $240,000 restitution to Chin, $85,000 to me, Permanent ban from New York real estate transactions. Courtroom nearly empty. My brother and back alone. Judge asked for victim impact statement. My father spent 34 years rewriting my achievements as his investments. When I restored a historic brownstone, 2 years, $340,000 expertise I'd spent a decade developing, he didn't just try to steal the property. He tried to steal the accomplishment itself. The fraud was criminal, but the erasure was lifelong. Walking out, Ka was waiting. How do you feel? Like I finally exist. 6 months later, life is unrecognizable. The brownstone is mine. Ghost ledger closed. Balance zero. No contact with dad, brother, most extended family. They're welcome to their narratives. I'm no longer their supporting character. Savings increased $3,800 monthly. Amount I'd spent on family obligations. 6 months. $22,800 toward Kyle's college fund. NYU promoted me to full professor, $28,000 raise. Colleagues who'd read my research celebrated genuinely. Kyle and I are planning Italy Renaissance architecture study. Neither of us has been to Europe. The silence feels different now. Not erasure. Peace. There's a concept called load-bearing walls, structures holding up entire buildings. I'd been my family's load-bearing wall for 34 years, supporting their narratives, their comfort, their reality. I stopped bearing that load. They collapsed. I remained standing. My mother told me 6 months before she died, sitting in my restored parlor, "Your father will never see you. Not because you're invisible, but because seeing you clearly would require him to examine himself honestly. And he's not capable of that." She'd known. She'd seen. She'd understood the ghost ledger before I'd started keeping it. Revenge isn't rage. Revenge is documentation. It's letting lies meet consequences. It's stepping back and letting structures fall when you're no longer willing to hold them alone. The brownstone isn't just mine legally, it's mine in every way. The property, the work, the recognition. A monument to something they never believed I could be. Successful, strategic, strong enough to let go. The account is closed. The ghost ledger balanced. And for the first time in 34 years, I'm finally visible. Not as his daughter, his project, his burden, but as myself. The building stands. My name is on the deed. And no one can forge that away.